Yo guys, what is going on? It's Slayer. Welcome back to another weapon guide in Modern Warfare. Today we are covering the M13, which is the hybrid assault rifle of this game. It's basically the midpoint in between an SMG and an assault rifle. It is one of the most versatile weapons in this game. So we're going to go over to the class and I'll show you what attachments are best to use on this weapon, and then after that we'll go into some gameplay with it. So we're going to go down to the M13 class, and here it is. And these attachments are basically run and gun lightweight attachments that you could use to make this gun feel as good as possible when having that run and gun and very aggressive playstyle. If run and gun really isn't for you and you have more of a passive playstyle, this loadout will work perfectly just the same, as this weapon is very versatile in general, and this loadout works with any kind of playstyle basically. So the first attachment on this weapon that we're going to use is the light integral suppressor. Basically what this will do for you is increase your ADS speed while also giving you a suppressor so you won't show up on enemies' HUD bars. And by HUD bar, I mean the actual compass that is on the top of your screen. That is basically what replaced the shooting mechanic when you shoot. It used to be that you would show up on someone's radar. Now you show up on someone's HUD on the compass section when you shoot your weapon, and this will get rid of that pop-up. So it will basically keep you hidden, and you'll be able to react quicker as well. The only downside to this attachment is that you get a decrease in bullet velocity, but it's very insignificant, and I personally haven't even noticed it. The next attachment is the underbarrel. Now, there's a couple of underbarrels that you can use, and the one that I personally use is the angled foregrip. Now, this weapon doesn't have a lot of recoil in general, but the most noticeable recoil is with the horizontal. Now, horizontal recoil is basically the bloom of this game. Your bullets will be inconsistent in where they're going, and they'll shoot out to the left and right of you. This attachment, which is the angled foregrip, controls that horizontal recoil and tightens up your bullets, which is the use of the angled foregrip. And it's very important to use this attachment, especially on weapons that have noticeable horizontal recoil, such as the M13. Another notable mention that you could use is the tactile grip, which also reduces the horizontal recoil. I'm sure that this will be a good attachment, however, I've never got a chance to use it as it's locked currently, but you could also try this one out if you don't want to use the angled foregrip. The next attachment is the rear grip, which I've said this in basically all of my weapon guides. If you have the pistol grip, the stripled, I don't know how to pronounce this shit, pistol grip, it will basically be the most beneficial thing that you want to use on the weapon, so always put this on when it's available. What this attachment does, basically, when you go from sprinting to immediately aiming, you'll have a fatigue where you won't be able to aim right away and you'll have a slight delay. This attachment basically gets rid of that completely and makes it so you can go immediately from sprinting to aiming down sight and shooting down and mowing down your opponents without having to worry about that slight delay that could potentially get you killed. Next up is the stock, and the only stock that is currently available in the beta is the lightweight stock. Now, the lightweight stock is the personal stock that I would recommend anyway. Even if the heavy stock does become available in the full game, the lightweight stock is still the stock that you're going to want to be using. Basically what it does, you're going to have increased movement speed. It's like the stock from previous COD games when you're aiming down sight. This is very good for jumping corners, when you're in some kind of close gunfight, when you need to stay on the move. Having this attachment is very useful, and it will make it so your opponents will have to actually move their gun around and aim more precise, and it could potentially save your life. So using the lightweight stock is very useful. I would 100% recommend it. The final thing, which is totally up for preference, is the perk. You could replace the perk for an optic, but I personally like the iron sights on this weapon and I use the perk, and that perk is frangible wounding. Now, there's a few perks that you can use on this weapon. There's two that really stand out to me, which are sleight of hand and frangible wounding. Now, the reason I don't use sleight of hand is because this weapon doesn't have a very long reload animation. The reload is actually quite quick on it, even without sleight of hand, so it's not an issue for me. And frangible wounding is a very useful perk. Basically what it does, when you shoot an opponent, it staggers their heal so that they won't be able to heal immediately and they won't get that regen for a certain amount of time. Basically, if you're unable to kill someone and you have a teammate nearby, they won't get that chance to heal, and hopefully that enemy will still die and you'll get an assist on them, which is why frangible wounding is a very useful perk. It basically guarantees that your opponent will die as long as you do significant damage to them. So yeah, this is the weapon attachment setup for the M13. Now we're going to go over to the perks. And basically the rest of this is up to preference, but this is what I personally use. Now, there's two perks that stand out here. One I would recommend over the other, which is double time. Double time basically increases your tactical sprint duration significantly and increases your speed very slightly. It's very good for a run and gun playstyle, which I have, so I like using double time. The other perk that you could use is quick fix, which basically makes it so that whenever you're doing something like capping a flag, killing someone, or defending an objective, you'll get a regeneration or an increase to your regeneration, which is very useful if you have that a more passive playstyle and you're good at holding objectives, this is the perk for you. Otherwise, I would recommend Double Time. In the perk 2 slot, there are another 2 perks that stand out, which are High Alert and Ghost. Ghost is very good. It's the Ghost from previous COD games. If you're the kind of player that likes to flank a lot without being detected, then Ghost is a very good perk for you. Personally, I like High Alert because High Alert gives you an indication on screen whenever someone is aiming at you from behind you, which lets me know that I'm basically going to get shot at and gives me an extra awareness that will basically save my life. So I would recommend using either High Alert or Ghost. In the perk number 3 slot, there's another 2 perks that are very good, which are Battle Hardened and Tracker. Battle Hardened is basically going to make it so that flashes and stuns and any tactical grenades won't have as large of an effect on you. It's very good. It could be a huge lifesaver when you get hit by a stun or a flash or something. It basically gives you that extra edge that you'll be able to fight back when you're flashed. The other perk that I'd recommend is Tracker. Basically, it's another awareness perk. You'll get an indication on the ground showing where someone previously was with a footprint trail. This is very useful if you like flanking people. You'll be able to catch people off guard, know exactly where people are going, and not really have to worry about people camping in buildings as much as well, because you'll see their footprint trail and you'll know that someone was previously in that building very recently, and you'll basically have that increased awareness, which is why this perk is very useful. For the lethal and tactical, that's another thing that's up for preference. I like the Semtex grenade. That's the grenade I use. The tactical, though, I would recommend one of 2 things. That is either the stun grenade or the stim shot. The stun grenade is your basic stun grenade, the concussion grenade in the Black Ops games. It basically stuns someone, and they'll basically have a decreased movement speed while they're hit by that stun in that duration. The stim shot is another very useful tactical. It's basically a counter to that frangible wounding. It makes it so that when you proc the stim, you'll instantly get regeneration and you'll be able to get your health back if you're running low. I personally like the stun grenade because it gives me some kind of leverage over a person when I hit someone with it, but the stim is another good option if you guys want to try it out. So yeah, that is the M13 class that I would recommend to you guys. Now we're going to jump into some gameplay and I'll show you what this class looks like in action. So yet again, like the last weapon guide that I recorded, this footage was gathered at the very last minute of the beta, so it's really not the best representation of what this weapon can really do, but it's really the footage that I could gather, so still, I hope you enjoy the gameplay.
HQ identified, secure the area. HQ lost. We're losing control. Shutting down the enemy HQ. New HQ established. Got a personal radar drone ready. HQ active. Move to secure. They're capturing the HQ. Go.
Loadouts, copy. Jaguar 3-0 en route for personal radar coverage.
I'm hit!
We've got a UAV on station. Personal radar's been shot down. Lost overwatch. We're taking the HQ. HQ contested.
This is Jaguar 3-0. South.
We're taking the HQ. HQ secured. Hold out as long as you can.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel.
HQ contested. Enemy on the HQ. Defend. HQ disabled. Get ready to move out. Almost done here. Ready up. We've got a UAV on station.
This is Jaguar 3-0. Solid copy. UAV beginning flyover.
Friendly UAV overhead. HQ active. Move to secure.
Be advised, UAV is being overviewed.
Securing the HQ.
En route for personal radar coverage.
Enemy UAV overhead. Friendly UAV overhead. Location secured. Almost done here, ready up. Got a personal radar drone ready for escort. UHQ established. We've got a UAV on station, ready for flyover.
Jaguar 3-0.
Friendly UAV overhead. Get to the new HQ. Friendly UAV overhead. HQ is green. Get to the new HQ. Airstrike, take cover! Friendly UAV overhead. Got a personal radar drone ready for escort. Got a UAV on station, ready for flyover. HQ is green, get a move on. Enemy on the HQ, get over there. Friendly VTOL on station for overwatch. Got a personal radar drone ready for escort. We've got a UAV on station. HQ active. Move to secure. We're taking the HQ. Less than a minute. We're almost there. Let's bring it home.
UAV is being overviewed. RTB for resupply.
So yeah guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it will get you that gold weapon a lot easier using this setup for this class. It is a very good setup. It is the one that I would 100% recommend. It's the one that I personally use. Make sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe for more weapon guides coming soon and other videos that I'll be making relating to Modern Warfare and then other stuff that I've been doing on my channel recently, such as funny moments and let's plays of the recent releases that have come out. But yeah, that's basically it. This is Slayer and I'll catch you in the next one guys. Peace out.